Good evening. You're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. High labor recruitment costs, illegal gambling, and the new diesel subsidy system are weighing heavily on Sarawak's business community. The Associated Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry of Sarawak raised these key concerns on Tuesday, presenting a memorandum to Premier Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. This memorandum seeks to resolve the growing pressure on local businesses by proposing actionable solutions to lower operating costs, reform labour policies and enhance the state's overall economic competitiveness. Deputy Premier Datuk Amar Dr. Sim Kui Hian led the delegation, accompanied by the President, Kong Cheong Ung, and the Chamber's executive lineup.
The group warns that rising costs under the government's foreign worker transformation approach are straining day-to-day operations, prompting them to submit direct solutions to the Premier. The Chamber also highlighted growing social concerns, citing the rise of illegal gambling and drug abuse in the community. They detailed the operational hurdles industry players are facing under the recently implemented subsidized diesel control system. Yet, despite these challenges, the Chamber welcomed the government's openness to constructive dialogue. The Chamber described the meeting as constructive, engaging in significant dialogue regarding the state's commercial landscape. ACCCIS reaffirmed its support for the state's development agenda, pledging to work closely with the government to foster a conducive business environment and secure Sarawak's long-term prosperity.
Preparations are underway as Sarawak sets to defend its overall championship title for SUKMA Selangor next month, with athletes undergoing final intense training both locally and overseas to ensure peak performance. Minister of Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, Datuk Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, confirmed preparations are entirely on track for the Games, which are now only 1 month away.
The defending champions face a tough road ahead from host state Selangor, the most successful team in the Games' history. Shifting events across 9 distinct districts, and Negeri Sembilan also makes complex logistics the largest operational challenge for this delegation. Despite these hurdles, the minister emphasized that athletes must remain focused on securing glory for the state, warning against competing solely for the promise of financial rewards.
Untuk SUKMA dan para SUKMA, siapa-siapa pemenangnya, we will never forget. But we will not give deep focus on that. Win first. Karena kita tidak mahu atlet ni berlari, berenang, mikir duit saja. It's not good to gantung macam itu, no. The carrot, or you win only then you get. It's not good. We want them to win it for Sarawak, to be glorified and to have that very deep self-satisfaction of winning, because that will also build up their character.
To offset some of these mounting logistical troubles, Sarawak is negotiating special charter flights with Air Borneo to move the team comfortably to Selangor. However, Air Borneo's limited fleet means other commercial carriers will also be deployed to ensure each athlete and official arrives at their destinations on time.
Presently, I know we are still talking to Air Borneo and trying to get if their planes are available to charter and bring our athletes to Selangor. If they can, if the negotiation or materialize, we will see our athletes, or at least some of our athletes, going to Selangor using Air Borneo. We are still in the process of negotiating.
The West Asia region is in flame once again after the US launched yet another series of airstrikes on Iran, claiming it was in retaliation for Tehran hitting commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. In response, Iran has closed the vital trade route and bombarded American bases across the region. RT correspondent Saman Kajuri has more.
IRGC has announced that it has launched retaliatory strikes against a number of the U.S. military bases in the Persian Gulf states, namely in Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, UAE, and Qatar, in response to the latest round of U.S. strikes against different Iranian targets. Well, according to Qatari Ministry of Defense, the Qatari forces have successfully intercepted Iranian missiles and drones. At the same time, the UAE has announced that it has activated its air defense systems and its forces have countered Iranian missiles and drones. At the same time, the UAE has announced that the sound of explosions heard across the UAE was the result of interception operations. Well, the latest escalation between Tehran and Washington comes after CENTCOM, the U.S. Central Command, has announced that it has launched new rounds of strikes against different Iranian targets, especially south of the country and southern provincial cities and locations, in response to what they call Iranian attack against a Cyprus-flagged ship trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. According to CENTCOM, the ship is now unable to continue its path because of an onboard fire and a damaged engine. And according to CENTCOM, a crew member has also gone missing. And also explosions were heard in the province of Bushehr, south of the country, especially in the city of Bushehr itself, and also in Kangan, Dayer, and Asaluye. Bushehr itself, the city of Bushehr, is of great importance because it is home to Iran's nuclear power plant. And according to Deputy Governor of Iran's Bushehr province, there has been no damage reported, to the Bushehr nuclear power plant. Also, no casualties have also been reported as a result of the U.S. strikes against different targets inside Iran, especially the southern areas of the country. Well, this comes as U.S. War Secretary has also reacted to the latest developments, saying that Iran has made a poor choice and that Iran will pay the price for it. At the same time, Iran's Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, who is also the chief negotiator, has announced that the era of one-sided deals is over and that you should keep your word or pay the price. First, that's a statement by Iran's Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf. Well, meanwhile, the IRGC has announced that until further notice, the Strait of Hormuz will be temporarily closed until the United States ends its interference in the region, and all vessels are now stopped there, and definitely no vessels are allowed to pass through this strategic waterway until further notice. And according to IRGC, the violating ships were forced to stop, and after receiving a force warning shots, because according to IRGC, they were sailing through an unapproved route.
Earlier, we had said that foreign interference and determining the illegal route for ships in the Strait of Hormuz would result in our decisive action and would disrupt the process of increasing traffic in the strait. These warnings were ignored, and several ships attempted to move along the unapproved route and ignored our warnings and reminders to correct the route and move along the approved route. Inevitably, a ship that had endangered maritime security by turning off its systems was hit with warning shots and stopped.
Now, with the latest military escalation and intensification of rhetoric between Tehran and Washington, we should wait and see what would be the next move.
Grieving families in Thailand are mourning the loss of loved ones after a deadly fire tore through a bar and restaurant in Bangkok, killing 30 people. The blaze broke out late Sunday night at the Rong Beer Na Lat Frau venue during a live music performance, sending patrons rushing for the exits as flames spread rapidly.
Authorities say 75 others were injured, with 24 still in critical condition. At Police General Hospital, relatives gathered to identify and claim the bodies of victims, many of whom are believed to have died from smoke inhalation. Some families described their heartbreak.
ร้านนึงก็เป็นเสาหลักของแม่อยู่กับแม่นะมาได้เดือนกว่าตะกี้ก็อยู่กับแม่เพราะว่าพ่อเพิ่นตายนี่จ้ะมานี่ก็บ่มีเงินใส่ที่อยู่หลายบ่มีเงินใส่เนาะก็เลยมาพอแม่ว่ามาแต่ว่าสิกันเงินออกสิฝากมาให้แม่ดอกเพิ่นเสียชีวิตก่อนแม่เลี้ยงหลานอยู่ต่างจังหวัด
คุณแม่มาทราบข่าวรายอีกทีหนึ่งตอนไหนครับว่าเกิดเหตุการณ์
ประมาณตีหนึ่งพี่สาวก็โทรมาบอกพี่สาวเขาอยู่เพื่อนเขาอยู่มูลนิธิร่วมกตัญญูเขาก็โทรมาบอกเขาโทรมาชวนเพื่อนเขามาเที่ยวมากินด้วยกันเพื่อนเขาเลยรู้ว่าลูกสาวแม่น่ะต้องเสียที่แน่นอนเพราะเขาโทรชวนหนูอยู่อะไรอย่างเงี้ย
Survivors and families have since returned to the burnt-out site to pay tribute to those who lost their lives. Meanwhile, others continue to hold on to hope, waiting for news of missing loved ones. Investigators are now examining the cause of the blaze, including a possible electrical fault and concerns over blocked emergency exits. A building safety expert said the venue appeared to lack basic safety measures, including emergency lighting, exit signs, and fire alarms.
Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim reaffirms there is absolutely no need to dissolve Parliament before the current term expires. He stresses that his administration retains a clear mandate to govern and will remain completely focused on strengthening the economy while maintaining political stability.
Responding to a supplementary question from Hulu Terengganu MP Datuk Rosol Wahid, who raised living costs and proposed a dissolution to seek a fresh mandate, Anwar says the government's immediate commitment remains directed toward helping citizens cope with pressure on the cost of living over the long term.
Saya percaya rakyat juga mahu kestabilan. Rakyat juga mahu ekonomi berkembang. Rakyat pun mahu jangan kita hanya terpolitik sepanjang masa. Jadi bagilah masa, kita ada mandat sampai pilihan raya bertempurlah pula. Saya tak ada masalah itu, ya. Cuma jangan masing-masing. Saya pun tak mahu terlalu yakin.
Commenting on fuel management, Anwar says retail fuel costs in Malaysia remain lower compared to several major oil-producing nations, explicitly naming both Saudi Arabia and Qatar. He notes that while the global economic landscape has shifted, the government continues providing direct assistance schemes, including Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah, SARA, targeted RON 95 subsidies, and Budi Diesel. At the same time, Anwar emphasized the government remains entirely open to constructive proposals from all sides to better improve public welfare policies.
The Sarawak-Sabah Link Road Phase 1 is not meant to replace the Batang Lupar, Batang Ikan and Batang Rambungan bridge projects. Works Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi says both projects serve distinct purposes and are essential to Sarawak's overall development. He adds that the clarification was necessary to dispel public misconceptions about the role and status of the SSLR1 project.
In a Facebook post, Nanta says SSLR1 is designed to develop a strategic road corridor linking Sarawak and Sabah while expanding connectivity to remote communities in northern Sarawak. Nanta adds that the Batang Lupar, Batang Ikan and Batang Rambungan bridges serve Sarawak's coastal communities and have different objectives from SSLR1. He says the projects, once approved under the 10th Malaysia Plan, were later deferred and cancelled following policy changes and a government review. The Works Ministry, he says, remains committed to working with Sarawak on future infrastructure priorities subject to federal funding.
Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs, available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire will on your screen anytime, anywhere. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.